Hey guys, how's it going? So this is a weekend video and I've been doing a lot of research into nickel and just into Giga metals because I'm an investor in Giga metals and it piques my interest and I ran across something interesting. I'm gonna share the video and then I'll share my thoughts about it. So let's begin.
CEO of the company. You get a telephone call one day when you're fishing.
Yeah, no, it was. I've been involved with this company for a long time, and in the last market cycle, we raised a lot of money, drilled a lot of holes to find a huge, one of the largest undeveloped deposits in the world of nickel and sulfides. Huge, low-grade, open-pittable deposit in northern British Columbia. Did a lot of metallurgy, did a lot of engineering, came out with a PEA in 2011, and the nickel price collapsed. So we kind of put the project on mothballs. We had a huge out-of-the-money asset, and then by the summer of 2017, waiting for the market to turn, it got a bit old, and we got a call out of the blue from a guy named Mike Beck. And Mike is a self-made billionaire in the resource space, and he said, "You've got exactly what I'm looking for," because he likes these big optionality plays, because that's where he made his money.
So before you restarted the project, was there ever a point where you had given up hope?
Okay, so I've been listening to so what I did was I searched up Mike Beck on YouTube and I ran across the little bit of the video where he talks about himself investing into uh Giga metals. So let's hear what he has to say and then I'll talk more about it.
Or were just priced, in our opinion, too highly. So the next thing we did was go to the public markets and look at nickel companies that maybe were orphans and that had been sort of left in the dust, because nickel's been beaten up now for 7 or 8 years, and arguably for even longer, 12 years, since the last big nickel spike was in 2007 when nickel hit $50,000 a ton. And in that sort of search, we discovered a company. It was called Hard Creek Nickel. At the time, it's been renamed Giga Metals, and it very much suits what we seek. It's a massive nickel sulfide deposit. Nickel sulfide was our preferred form of nickel exposure. That's the material that gives you class 1 nickel, which is what's needed for the high-grade stainless steel and the batteries. And so the deposit is called Turnagain. It's in British Columbia. It's almost, in fact, they put out an updated resource report on it about 10 days ago. It's now 2 billion tons. Lower grade, 0.22, 0.23% with a cobalt byproduct credit, but it's the kind of thing that if the nickel price goes from where it is today at just shy of $18,000 a ton to, let's say, $25,000 a ton, which is, by the way, half of where the last nickel high was in 2007 at $50,000 a ton, all of a sudden this deposit goes from being of marginal interest to being of great economic interest. And so we acquired as much of the stock as we could. The stock is still very much an orphan. It's not really covered by any research houses. It has a market cap, I think, of, even with its recent run-up, of only $19 million Canadian. And for us, it's a perfect sort of way to add nickel exposure to our portfolio, and we're patient, and it will get re-rated as the nickel price increases. And so long as we've got our thesis correct, and that is that the shortages become more acute as we move out over the next 2 to 3 years, nickel price will will go up further, and all of a sudden, Giga Metals will get re-rated. So that's kind of our investment strategy. For those that just don't have.
Okay, that's it for the video. I think that's like what he talks about. So it's interesting because this was recorded on October 9th, 2019. So this was roughly a year ago. And back then, Giga Metal stock was really cheap. And another thing I wanted to point out was, rotors are the ones that not leaked, but reported on talks between Tesla and Giga Metals. And according to this website, Media Bias Fact Checks, overall we rate Reuters' least bias based on objective reporting and very high factual reporting due to the proper sourcing of information with minimal bias and a clean fact check record. So factual reporting very high. So obviously Reuters are a very, how do you say it, very like they're very good at reporting the information. So I mean, is it, or did they lie? Did they make up this information just to pop the stock? It could be a possibility. But so let's look at, so like he was talking about, if Giga Metals goes back to around 25,000. If it goes back to around 25,000 K, the company will be extremely profitable when mining nickel. Will it? Well, I guess when battery supply shortages happen for material for the nickel, there's a huge possibility that could happen. So right now, as recording, the market is red. This is a weekend video. So let's look at Giga stock from 1 year period ago. So essentially, I'm assuming that, you know, this billionaire invested heavily into Giga Metals when it was roughly, you know, 20 cents maybe. I have no idea, but he said that they bought as many shares as possible, so maybe there's a really tight float on this. Maybe they were really careful about buying it, so they didn't spike the stock price. And then that news got released, got the market overexcited, popped the stock, and then a report came out saying that that the whole Tesla deal is fake, and the stock sold off. I think this is an opportunity because Elon Musk needs that nickel, and this guy is a billionaire. So obviously he done his research, and he bought into the stock heavily, as at least according to this investor presentation. They bought as much shares as they can. I don't know. Like, I think you are only allowed to buy a certain amount of stock. Like, I think one investor is only allowed to invest a certain amount of money into a company, like maybe 10%. So we can look at that up. Individual. Actually, I don't know. Maybe 20% individual investor. Yeah, man, I don't know how to spell. How to spell individual investor. Maximum amount. Percentage. 35% under the ICDR regulation. Since 35% of the public issues allocate retail investors in large size public size issues. I don't know. This might be wrong. Most investors own between 10 to 30 stocks. Okay, I don't know. Learn the 5% rule of investing. I gotta do more research on it, but like they said, they bought as many shares as possible. So, this is kind of a poor video in my opinion. But there's a billionaire interested, so I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know. You guys can listen to the rest of the video if you want. But this is it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Maybe, hopefully. If not, oh well. Thanks for watching and subscribe for future updates and have a great day. Bye.